On the Paper Talk today, we'll be looking at a guy called Erik Ten Hag, because apparently he's coming this week, although he might not be coming. He does want full control over transfers, although he doesn't. RB Leipzig want him, although they don't. If we can't clear all that up, I don't know what is going on. Let's have a go, though. Let's check it out. Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm back outside Old Trafford, and the sun is shining, and the COVID is long gone for me. Anyway, we'll get straight into it. Lots of stories, lots of conflicting stories about some bloke called Erik Ten Hag. You may have heard of him. He's the Ajax manager. He's been linked heavily with the Manchester United job, and it seems none of the journalists can make their mind up on what's exactly happening, when he's coming, if he's coming, whether he wants full control over transfers, whether he wants a little bit of control, whether he wants no control over transfers, what is going on, whether he wants to bring in his own coaching staff, Robin van Persie, Steve McLaren, or whether that's nonsense. So we'll try and make some sort of coherent report out of all the conflicting stories. First of all, there was a story doing the rounds I think it was in the Metro, that Erik Ten Hag was irritated that he was irritated and annoyed by some of the reports that were going on. And it says, Manchester United are hoping to conclude a deal to make Erik Ten Hag their next permanent manager this week. It has been claimed. It then goes on to say that they've made the Dutchman their number one target to replace Ralf Rangnick. We all know that. And that actually, these reports about him being, wanting a full say and wanting all this control weren't true, and he's a little bit annoyed and irritated by them. There's also another story that says, this is in the Express, that says Man United hope to agree £1.7 million Erik Ten Hag deal this week as talks with Ajax boss advance. Then we've got another report, this time from Paul Hurst, who's in the Times, says Erik Ten Hag wants to bring in coaches Michel van der Gaag, Steve McLaren and Robin van Persie. There was also a report that there might be an issue with Robin van Persie's work permit. I mean, that sounds crazy, doesn't it, to me, that Manchester United can't appoint a coach who's well known as Robin van Persie, to a job as high profile as coach of Manchester United's first team, because there might be an issue with his work permit. I mean, it just seems absolutely ludicrous to me. But that does seem to be the case. Also, there's the story. This is, I think, again in the Telegraph. Sorry, and this sort of backs up the idea that he's not demanding full control. Sorry if I'm flitting between each story here. It's just these are how this sort of every story seems to have a different angle. It says, contrary to reports, however, the 52-year-old Dutchman, what a nice way to describe him. He's a 52-year-old Dutchman. He's a 42-year-old Mancunian is how people may describe me. I know I don't look 42. However, the 52-year-old Dutchman is not demanding full control over transfers and has been irritated by suggestions. Having spent all of his coaching career working under a sporting director, it would be astonishing if Ten Hag was now demanding that degree of control. Sources, and this is a word that I like hearing in a story, emphatically claim he is not. They don't just claim it, they emphatically claim he is not. So he's irritated, he's annoyed, and they're emphatically claiming he's not after full control. Now, here's where the plot thickens, as they often say. There's a few stories doing the rounds, and I think this was from Jason Burt in the Telegraph, so it said RB Leipzig are attempting to hijack Manchester United's move to hire? What's that? It's not even a word. To hire Erik Ten Hag as their next manager. Even though it would be a huge surprise if Ten Hag were to turn United down, but sources insist that the German club have shown an interest and may try to take advantage in any delay in negotiations. Okay, right. RB Leipzig are coming for him. Oh, that might light a fire under the board and all that. However, Patrick Berger, who has been on this channel, says RB Leipzig to hijack Man United's potential Ten Hag deal, ? Absolutely nonsense. The Dutch was a candidate. The Dutch, he just called him the Dutch. He's not called him a 52-year-old Dutchman. He's just said the Dutch. But it's a tweet, so he's been, brevity. The Dutch was a candidate RB Leipzig in the past. Leipzig are totally satisfied with Domenico Tedesco. Ten Hag is still top candidate to take over. Now, Paul Hurst, who's also been on this channel and is a friend of the channel, he'd said that Leipzig were looking at him. Jason Burt said that. However, Patrick Berger, who is pretty reliable, said that isn't the case. He said that Leipzig are happy with their coach. And it seems like that may not be true. That may be a bit, or that may be slightly misleading, or I don't like to say that journalists have, not done the due diligence, especially journalists that we've had on the channel and we speak to, but you feel like that those reports may just have come from somewhere that isn't as ITK as others. Who knows? We'll wait and see. It would seem shocking to me if Erik Ten Hag were to end up at RB Leipzig for the reasons that have been given there by Patrick Berger, and also the fact that no matter how sort of despondent we are about Manchester United's situation at the minute, and now about how low we feel, and we make it easy, and I do it myself to go, oh, we're a mess, this is a shambles, and all the rest of it. Manchester United are just a far bigger club than RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig, started as a part of a, soft drinks brand. They're not in the same category as Manchester United. They're just not. Now, you may look at it and go, okay, well, maybe they've got a sporting director and a structure that suits Erik Ten Hag, and maybe don't want to come here because we're a shambles and we have a load of investment bankers making transfer decisions that no manager in the right mind would want to work under. I get that, but it's still Manchester United Football Club compared to RB Leipzig, and it does seem slightly unlikely, shall we say, that he would go there, especially when they've got a decent manager as well who they're happy with. So that, if it makes any sense at all, is the latest. According to some of the reports, I'll try and sort of round it up for you. He's not fully sort of demanding complete control over transfers. He's happy to work under a sporting director who's done that in the past. United are looking to get a deal done, hopefully in the next few days, maybe the end of the week, where it could be £1.7 million, I think, per year, or whatever it is. I think that was his figure I said. So it's not ludicrous for that, or £1.7 million to Ajax. Now, also, the reports that he could be going to RB Leipzig look like they may be slightly untrue. It looks like RB Leipzig are happy with their coach, and they just the rumours about Ten Hag taking over aren't exactly founded in fact. So, from what we gather there, United, if the majority of stories of beef sleeve, are looking to move forward with Erik Ten Hag, and he's looking to take over under the sort of proviso that he doesn't have complete control of transfers. The story also said, when I read it, it said that he did want to have some say in transfers, and he does want, to be able to have discussions around transfers, and both ingoing and outgoing, which makes sense, because if you look at this, the squad needs a massive overhaul. Surely the manager has to have some say in the transfers, but it's not like he was coming in saying, I've got complete control over everything. That is according to the reports anyway. There may be more conflicting reports coming out later. You may read elsewhere something that contradicts what I've said, but those are the main stories doing the rounds this morning. We'll have much more updates and stories doing the rounds as well later on this week. We'll have all the previews, we'll have the podcast. Well, also we've got a special guest on the podcast this evening. Well, 4 o'clock, that's afternoon really, and it's not evening. I'll give you a little quiz to see if you can guess who he is. Right, he scored a goal in the 4-0 FA Cup final win over Chelsea. It wasn't a penalty, I'll give you that clue, right? And he didn't score in Rotterdam. So if you're clever, you might be able to work it out. He'll be on the Brute, not the Brute. He'll be on the podcast later on. We'll have all the other good stuff as well. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Let's get to 650,000. No, yeah, 700,000. Why am I lowering the bar? I'm off for a few days, and my mind just goes, let's get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. With your support, we can do it. I've been Jay. This has been the Paper Talk outsider. A mild Old Trafford. It's quite mild. It's getting a little bit breezy, but it's a nice breeze, yeah? Thanks for watching.